Good evening and welcome to the Dugout. Under normal circumstances, I thought that today's Dugout we would be talking about the fan frenzy and the love for RCB that the fans have, that the players get, and everything that was spoken in the speeches there. As I said, under normal circumstances, today's Dugout would have been that, because yesterday we didn't do the Dugout. We had rolling live coverage, so much happening there. And today we thought would be a good day to look back at all the excitement, the celebration, everything that we witnessed during the felicitation ceremony of Royal Challengers Bengaluru. The day did start like that, but unfortunately it did not end like that. You all know how that ended. It's become national headlines for all the wrong reasons. Everything is being discussed. And now what we are witnessing is a classic case of finger pointing, where one party is saying they are responsible, party number two is saying they are responsible, and I think that will continue. Not only that, politics is also being played over their entire incident, with one party pointing fingers at the other and so on and so forth. What we're going to do today, as we always do, we'll keep the politics aside. Because that's what politicians do across parties. They wait for an opportunity to pounce on. At the end of the day, the ones who suffer are common people like you and I. So we'll keep our focus in the Dugout on that, and we'll try and answer some questions as to why did it happen, how can that be avoided, was it right for RCB to have celebration at such a short notice, could the celebration event have been scrapped after news started filtering in, an overall assessment of the entire situation, so that we can better understand why this happened and such things don't happen in the future. With me is Harshit, Siddharth and Shashwat. Yes.
What do you say about that day? I mean, 18 years later, a city gets a chance to revel in the team that has been perennial underachievers. Sure, the emotions, the frenzy, knowing Bengaluru, it would have reached fever pitch. And you just couldn't wait to get back there, to experience the love. But what happened? The same frenzy morphed into something nightmarish. And you shouldn't even have kept any of these things in Bengaluru. For one simple reason, the city lacks the planning, the management to even hold these kind of things. It's a bitter truth for people living in Bengaluru and for people who are RCB fans. I'm sorry. This was a disaster which was waiting to happen.
So that's why I just point out Bangalore. I think we've seen stampedes. We saw one happen at a major congregation, religious congregation that took place.
Happened even in a major station.
Yeah. So, and see, we've seen stampedes happen, not just in India. We've seen them happen overseas as well, especially when it comes to these sporting events. Why just single out Bangalore? Like, I just felt that you were saying that Bangalore wasn't prepared for this, and this shouldn't have been and couldn't have ever happened in Bangalore in a seamless manner.
Because why? I'll tell you one reason. You avoided a stampede-like situation in Mumbai during the T20 World Cup because the team came a week later. So you had adequate preparation time. You won the trophy at 11:30 a.m. Until then, you didn't know whether you were winning or not. So you couldn't have planned in advance what was the celebration going to be like. You ask for the necessary permissions, okay, but you know how India works. It's like a bureaucracy. It takes its own sweet time. Within, if you look at it, 17 hours, when RCB landed at HAL airport, they then decided, okay, initially, they were not given the permission because Bengaluru police, they knew the ground reality. Boss, don't hold it now, because the police force was already stretched by what happened on Tuesday in night. Suddenly on Wednesday afternoon, you are asking us to do this. So what happened? A very small section, 1 kilometer, yes, do the parade. But the arrangements, look at Bengaluru, Chinnaswamy, where it is. 40,000 you have to sweat because the capacity is 35,000, 40,000 because of the way how the roads are. You have to sweat. 10x that number. It's a recipe for disaster. Police had no time for barricading. Police had no time to ensure that they got the right checkpoints. And you saw 11 people
So
dead.
then my point is, if they couldn't have been ready in such a short time, why did then the chief minister also have a function? The police, if they were not ready, did the police tell the chief minister, sorry, don't have the function at Vidhan Soda, we can't give you enough security?
But sir, the only thing over there was, what I understand is that when you're going towards the chief minister's house, over there, that's already a very highly secured area. Already those protocols are there. As far as then going from there to the stadium that is a different thing altogether.
That is not the question. The question is, the chief minister has the right to celebrate RCBs win, but the fans don't. So what do the fans do? So fans also should aspire to be chief ministers, to be celebrating. So who allows the chief minister more right, whether he is in a secured area or not, to celebrate, but the fans can't? Who is the greatest stakeholder for the team to have won? So why should they not get it?
That's the
And if the
problem.
police cannot arrange it, then it's the failure of the police not to be able to arrange it. What are the cops for in a city? Where do the cops get the money from? From the taxpayers. The chief minister pays from his pocket the salary of the cops. You and I pay tax, through that the cops are paid. So what is their job? To look after the people and make sure that if they want to celebrate anything, to make that thing available for them to celebrate. That is the primary job of the police. I think they failed in that.
No, but if the police wasn't ready, if I'm not wrong, the police also suggested that Sunday is a better day to have it, because then at least there is no office traffic and things can be better managed. Then all the celebration could have happened on Sunday, be it the chief minister or at the stadium. But maybe, see, what I also understand is that I definitely hold RCB accountable for it as well, because whatsoever they wanted to celebrate, I totally understand. But as soon as those deaths happened, and those deaths happened before they reached the stadium, till then the deaths had already happened. Then it should have been called off at that moment.
Let me answer those questions one by one. So firstly, you are saying that the cops told them do it on Sunday. Then why did...
I'm asking. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. Why were the cops there at Chinnaswamy Stadium? You think a function can happen without the permission of the cops? If I don't want to be part of a function, if I am the cops and you're doing it without my permission, will I go to that event? The cops were there or not there? I was there at that place. The event was to happen at the Chinnaswamy at 5 o'clock. There was police barricading from 2 o'clock in the afternoon, from 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Cars were not allowed to go in there. So if cops didn't want it, it couldn't have happened.
No, but sir, at
The
the end of the
cops
day,
were there,
cops...
but there weren't adequate number of
So
cops.
whose responsibility is
So
that?
that
But at the
becomes,
end
I
of the
think,
day,
the
it's also-
responsibility.
My point is, if you are the administrators, if I am the DSP or whoever I am, if I say I cannot do it, my point is this. If they think they have not enough people, they cannot. They say no, that event will not happen.
But the report suggests that they
It's
were
as simple as
pressurized
that.
as
So
well.
it's like you
So
know,
then who is to be... You're not getting my point. I commit his murder because you are telling me pressurizing. So will I not be punished for committing his murder? The
The
thing
word
is,
that he
this is
uses-
an easy way to escape route that we could not provide or whatever. If they had not given permission, that event couldn't have had. The gates of Chinnaswamy Stadium would not be open. People could not be on the road. There will be no barricading. The cops agreed. Whether it is under pressure, not pressure, then it is for the cops to come out and say. And by the way, that's what I try to say. If something that cannot be managed, there are lots of other things that happen. There are concerts that get cancelled, no? Because the cops say we cannot provide. Concerts have gotten cancelled. So because they say we cannot. If the cops had said we cannot do it, this event wouldn't have happened. Now that this event has happened, now you will find various people to pin the blame on. At the end of the day, it is the failure of the administration. It is the failure of the... My thing is, any franchise has got nothing to do with RCB. If they won the title, they deserve to celebrate. It happens everywhere in the world. So if you cannot, if we as a country cannot ensure that a team when they win the title cannot celebrate, then there is something wrong in our systems. It happens everywhere in the world, and sometimes it happens overnight also. In European football it happens, they win the title in the night, next morning is the parade.
we saw it happen
And
in London this time.
Every
when-
time. Crowded cities, much more
when in
crowded than
Bilbao,
Bangalore.
Spurs won
Correct,
the
correct.
Europa,
let's
and
not
they came
let's
next
not
day.
let's not for our incompetence, with things that we cannot do as a in terms of administration and security, start pinning the blame. Every fan deserves to celebrate. If you're an RCB fan, you deserve to celebrate your team's victory. If you're a team that is RCB, you deserve to do whatever you want. By the way, just let me also put that out. The open bus parade did not happen. It did not happen because the cops didn't allow them. If the cops didn't allow them to use Chinnaswamy, they couldn't have done that as well. Right? If the cops didn't allow them to do
They had to agree
anything,
under pressure.
Look at how
well, then,
but
even
that pressure
then,
would have
as I
come
said,
political wise also.
So then-
but no, but
so
all I'm
then-
trying to say, some strings would have been pulled by the franchise also.
You're not getting my point. So what? So what? As I'm trying to tell you, if I am pressurizing you to commit a murder, you will be charged for murder, sir, because you've put the knife in there. You know the famous story of the country is when India had the 71 war, okay, at that time the Prime Minister in Indira Gandhi said that, you will have to attack. But the Chief of Army Staff at that time said, no, we cannot do it, we're not ready. Said no, because they're not ready, because if they had done it, they would have failed. He said, give me 3 months time, I will set things right and then we'll do it. So my point is, by the way, my first point is that there should be no, can you just minimize that? I don't want to see that. Can you, firstly, why can't we have a situation where our country can organize things? First and foremost. If we keep talking about how many trillion economy? 1 trillion economy. Fourth largest economy or whatever. Yeah. Honestly telling you, nowhere in the world, they cannot arrange for crowds to be managed. Now people will say India has greater population. I'm sorry, population may be more, but event wise, when some football clubs or NBA team win, those many people only turn up to watch. The city may have lesser population than Bengaluru, whatever. London may have less population than Delhi or Bombay, but the number of people that turn up for these parades are also in 100,000, 200,000 that turn up on the street. So firstly, that. So I'm saying rather than focusing on that, no, we have to get our basic things right. Basic things of providing it to the citizenry. They are taxpayers. If they want to celebrate, tomorrow you will say that New Year is there, but everyone is coming to celebrate New Year's. We cannot provide security, so sit in your house and celebrate the New Year's. We will not allow anybody to go out and celebrate New Year's. I mean, that is not how a country should work.
See, the problem in India is, the common trend that is there. We've seen stampede deaths occur in all forms of life in India.
And that's a failure of the system. And as I said, if it happened at the Kumbh Mela, you cannot not say that Kumbh should not happen. There are people who want to go. There are people who believe, they have their religious beliefs. They think it is right for them. They will do it. So what is the authority supposed to do? To organize it in a way that Kumbh happen. Similarly, a team has won. By the way, they are not the first team. KKR also had their open bus parade. In fact,
also had it.
Yeah, and they had a open bus parade also. Here they were not allowed that open bus parade. They only went to meet the chief minister and then entered the stadium. That thing that you see in the bus was just a regular bus carrying them from there to here. The open bus was there. I saw it. It was ready. It was parked inside the stadium. They were not allowed.
Vidhan Sauda as well.
Yes, but they were not allowed to board on that. That's what I'm trying to say. So they tried. And if their pressure worked, then they should have done this also, na?
So, but the only point why RCB is also being held accountable for this is, firstly, I think it's also because they were the organizers in that sense. And also, secondly, I feel once it was definitely a system failure. There are no thoughts about it. But once those deaths had happened, at that point, maybe that should have been called.
No, Shashwat. Again, I will tell you since I was there. Firstly, the first sign of that thing happening, by the way, it's happened in multiple gates. It happened in gate 17, 18, 19, which is the one that I saw. It happened near gate 7 and it also happened near gate 4, I believe.
Also.
1, 4, whatever. So there are multiple areas. The maximum are gate 7 and gate 17, 19, 4, 4 is what I hear. And then rest it's spread out. Okay, this 17, because we went through that. And in fact, me and my camera person, Deepak, when we were going, and when we reached in the middle, we got squeezed and neither could we go in forward, neither could we go back, and we had to go to gate 13. We could not because it was packed. And I told him exactly that we are still full grown men. We're still being able to, at least keep a distance and get our breath. If imagine there's a girl in our place right now, or there's a young boy, 14, 15-year-old, not fully developed, how will they manage? And in case somebody trips or falls down, nobody will stop, because there were people pushing from this side who were celebrating. There are people who are trying to go this side, people trying to go that side. So firstly, it happened in multiple locations. By the way, if you see my own coverage, 4 o'clock I was live on India Today. At 4 o'clock, even I didn't know the number of deaths or whatever. I'm at the location. The first sign I saw, which I said in my live around that time, this may have been around the 4:40
mark at that
yeah,
time.
4:40 when I'm live. That's the first time I see people being carried who are unconscious. They went in front of me, because where I was, that is where the ambulance was. That is at 4:45. Even I don't know if are they exhausted? Are they dehydrated? Are they have they fainted because standing? Because you remember I'm saying it in the live.
It was I think
in front of me they started going.
4:30, 4:40 was still
right?
around in the stadium.
I'm there 4:40.
Yeah.
I don't know, as a reporter, I don't think the franchise knows that time that any death has occurred. There's no news of any death. They go inside at that time and they've been told that there is a stampede, but nobody knows what it is. It was supposed to be a 2-hour function. That function was to go on for 2 hours. The players went there. They said that we don't know what has happened at that moment. Even the RCB people did not know. By the way, the chief minister also came there. The deputy chief minister also came there. They were asked that in front of me. They were asked that there's a stampede, but at that time, no reporter, nobody knew deaths. Nothing. I was on record. I went on air. Nobody. So if you go to any concert also, there are people who faint and are taken. I actually thought that that's the case. That maybe, some people have. I said that. I was live at 4:45, and that's when the bus also came. It's around the same time. They go in and then they have been taken to hospital. So imagine it's a question of 10 minutes. News is also filtering in. They go into the ground, and I'm telling you a first-hand account. They go into the ground. Then I go up. After finishing my live, I go and I'm like, what is happening? They come out. You've seen what they did, 15-minute function, and they left, and everyone was shocked that, the crowd that had turned up. Imagine they've stood there for 3 hours coming in. They had a cultural program planned, everything. I was told, everything. So they said our unboxing, when I had asked about the time, they said our unboxing was 2 hours. This is going to be bigger than that. This is the initial plan in the morning when I checked from the teams that were organizing it. So clearly this was a 3-hour function that they had planned. They did it in 15 minutes out. And by the way, even at that time, nobody knew as to what or how many deaths they are. They cut it in 15 minutes, telling that people have been taken to a hospital. That is all, because I was there, even I was informed. It's around the 6 o'clock mark. It's when, the team is ready to go, as in the function is finished, but the team did not come out. We have pictures of my camera person waiting for them to come out. That's the first time I got told by a local reporter that there are deaths, but there is no confirmation of figure. There are people that have been rushed to hospital that we were reporting that have been rushed to hospital. Some of them have died. And things like that. That's when news started filtering in, and that's where the decisions are taken. It wasn't like it is being shown in social media that, I saw some of those images, that one person is dead in the hospital and Virat Kohli is smiling in the ground and holding it was not like that. You have to understand the chronology as to how it happened. I was there, that's what I'm saying. And I have no allegiance to an RCB or to the cops or to anybody. The only people I felt, now when I look back, I didn't know because when, what happened when the bodies were being taken, my camera person himself said ki ye nahi dikha tha, because you remember what was the mood that we were talking about? Celebration, fun. And I actually thought that these may have been people who fainted because of exhaustion, heat, and all of that. So a camera person also said that he could very well, because they went right in front of us, people being lifted. He was going to, and then he thought that, why, when you're talking about celebration, let me show people who fainted. And also why we didn't do, because we thought they were minors. They were less than 18 years of age anyway. And so that came to my mind that let's not film them minors. You're not allowed to shoot anyway in any circumstances. So now when I look back, and now that I know that people have died, there was a boy, must have not been older than 14, 15-year-old, who they were carrying at that time. There was another girl who they were, trying to slap on the face and make,
and get her back to life.
I saw that, and it was right where we were doing the live. It was just there. And they were being carried because the ambulance had run out, and then they were taking. And this is all while the team is also entering. So I don't think the information really filtered out. Yeah, had this happened while they were in Vidhan Soda, and news before they reached the ground, they had known that this thing has happened, and then they continued with the celebrations, I would have said, no, this isn't fair. But that's not what happened.
Yeah. But then you have to blame RCB on one particular moment. When they said free tickets.
Yeah, I agree. That's a failure.
When they said that, and the mentality that is there anywhere in the world, when there are free tickets for such a major thing, you have to expect a crowd swell. One. Two, you know that initial permission was not given. RCB insisted.
Exactly.
They insisted that
Doesn't matter. Why were they allowed to do
So
it?
I'm saying even that is fine. The only point is, you remember for a very short period of time on our group also there was confusion about the fact there was confusion about the fact that maybe has the team returned back to the hotel, they are not coming to the stadium, or are they coming to the stadium? When we actually figured out that no, they haven't returned, they've come to the stadium. That means definitely there was something, because there is no,
because there is a rumor doing the round, that means it's something.
no, not just that. It's
What you're insinuating is completely wrong.
It was
Just because there is a rumor
was
that
a
you have
rumor, yeah.
accounted for does not mean that the team is aware of that. I was there, and when that rumor came, and that was a wrong news that it came, I was there, and I was like, how is this happening? Because the team is already inside the stadium.
Yeah,
The team so then that's what my point is. The team is already in the stadium, and even at that time I'm on the ground. We don't know if people have died. Nobody knows at that time that people have died. It is a complete wrong impression, and if you're saying it, then you are actually peddling lies.
no.
Because that's not how it happened. That's not how it happened, because I was there.
Because
I said, how can this new be there that they have gone while they're already in the stadium? And at that time, we didn't even know people have died. So the rumor started because people would have seen they're being carried. They said, oh, they're starting and people have been taken to hospital, so team has gone back. That's a rumor that could have been started by you, I, me, whoever. That doesn't necessarily mean that the team knows about it. For one, can I be honest? I don't think any player there and any person there, I saw it, as I said, I didn't know at that time what the case was. I just thought that they had fainted, but now that I've gotten to know that they died, it has affected me. I don't think there could have been one single player who could have been smiling and cheering had he known that a person has died. Whoever, it's got nothing to do with RCB, it has got nothing to do with KKR, Punjab Kings, player from India, player from England, anybody. If a person had known somebody has died because they were trying to get in, I don't think, even if they were forced to do it, you could have seen it in their faces, but that wasn't the case.
you see, it all boils down to that one particular moment, okay? Now everything is starting to have a surge. RCB announced on their official social media sites, this is official by the way, not fan sites, that we are giving you free tickets, okay? Free tickets is the recipe for a disaster. Why? Because in a capacity of 40,000, you get 4 lakhs. It 10x's. Okay? Police versus civilian ratio in any major city you look at it, be it Mumbai, be it Delhi, be it Kolkata, be it Bangalore, be it Chennai, police versus people ratio is abysmally skewed towards the people. For example, in Mumbai, for a population of close to 15-16 million, you just have on an average 30 or 40,000 police personnel. That's the force. Now, these free tickets were announced. The crowd swell had to happen. The crowd swell happened. Already an overwhelmed police force. Already, whatever you may say, Bangalore police's incompetencies or whatever, that, oh, we were stretched on Tuesday. They were already stretched to the limit. No barricading done, nothing done.
I'll tell you some other thing, and that is again a big failure on our part. Yeah. I think if you have to fault RCB, they need to be faulted for the fact that when they put the message out, they had not given any clarity as to how people can get in.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone thought it is first come first, so people landed up. I think the communication should have been clear that you do not come to the stadium unless you have a ticket, which they'd arranged, which was free, but you had to go to their website. That communication came around 3 in the afternoon, by which time the crowds had already come. So I think the fault lies with them in communicating with that. But even the police social media handle, why they had put in the traffic advisory, they had put in all of that, they also should have mentioned this, that do not get there. There is no ticket available there. Yeah. There is no first come first. Free tickets are available on this website. Only if you have it, then you go. Because I met a lot of people asking me. Now the other thing is, as I said, if the issues, the deaths would have happened inside the stadium, then I think you needed to pull RCB and the event management company, that's DNA, that was organizing. None of the deaths happened inside. It's happened on the streets of Bengaluru. Who's responsible for the streets of Bengaluru? If I have a concert tomorrow and I'm a public entity and I do a Coldplay concert here. I know 100,000 people will come in. My responsibility is there, everything inside the stadium. I will get police security. I will have private guards. I need to have inside, outside, exit, fire control, ambulances. All of that I have to be accountable for inside. But if something has happened outside it or whatever, it's the police's responsibility to not ensuring. And what were the cops doing? I saw that. The cops are at the gate. Each gate had policemen there. What I witnessed when I told you I almost got caught in that whirlpool of crowd is right outside the Cubbon Park metro station, which is near gate 18, 19, where 4 deaths have happened. There is not a single person. So some rowdy element, guys, fans, they've covered that entire street and they're celebrating with the whatever dole and celebrate. They've covered the entire street. Now people want to go this side, that side, they cannot go. And that's where people from the metro station is coming. Now, who's supposed to regulate that? That if this is the metro station, boss, you have to keep this passage open. You're celebrating, go that side. And now nobody is there. Cops are at the gate, which is again 50 meters, 100 meters, different place. Cops are there. Nobody is bothered to come in and clear that. That is their responsibility. Everyone is only interested, police one, that I have to ensure entry. So I will see the ticket entry. I will see this ticket entry. But things are happening 50 meters, 100 meters away from you. Now, who's going to manage that? If you had, for example, they're done barricading, my car could not come. So I walked about 1 kilometer to get to my gate. Fine, cars were not being allowed to come. But you have to do something about people as well. How people access some barricading on the roads as well to ensure around the stadium where people are going to be walking. There was nothing. The VIP gate from which I entered, there was no rush there at all. Only the VIPs, the Deputy Chief Minister, the team bus, the members and media, we entered. That had the most number of police personnel, which was the least of the chaotic gates of all. But most number of policemen doing what? Ensuring people enter well and the gate is open and they go inside well. They are not bothered about. Just next to that, if you remember, I showed pictures like, so this is where the gate is. Cops are standing. That's where that wall is. So 10 meters, there's a tree. People have climbed on that tree. They're sitting on the tree.
You showed the visuals also.
But the cops are not doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's a dangerous thing. No, some tree collapse, falls on people. They're not interested. All they're interested in that this VIP gate should be free so that whenever the VIP car comes, it gets a clean passage to go in.
So welcome to my India. My India is still reeked in VVIP culture because maximum police for less protocols. When you look at it, important dignitaries had to come, right? So I'll get more police there. Fans anyway are the lowest pecking order when you have to look at it in India. And as I had mentioned, an already overwhelmed and overworked police force to handle a crowd swell of 4 lakh or 5 lakh. And look at the area. Cubbon Park Metro, you look at Vidhana Sauda and M. Chinnaswamy. As I had said, Bangalore is like a spider's web. You blockade one particular area, the blowback will happen 70-80 kilometers of a gridlock. Okay? So you have to plan for that. Was time given for planning? No. They were totally caught unawares. RCB...
They should have put their foot down then, Siddharth.
Yeah.
Because at the end, the buck stops with them. As I said, you have to, if you think you cannot, and you denied permission for the bus parade, right? Did the bus parade happen?
No.
Because you denied permission.
Yes.
Here, whether you did it with open arms or you did it reluctantly, the buck still stops with you. You should have said, no, we're not allowing it. And if they said no, then no power in the world could have had that.
You know, there was one power. You know, the police could have been absolutely lambasted, heads would have been rolled by the same fans who say, how dare you not allow us to organize a parade on the day it happened.
As I said, ideally they should. That's what they are. They are for the citizen to ensure that that is the case. But I'm saying that's still the lesser evil.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't have had it, nobody would have died, no? 10 upset people or 100 upset people are better than even 1% dead.
But
so if you had to take a tough call, and see, that's where the decision is, right? That sometime you have to take a tough call. For example, and I say, nobody wants to, pass a order against religious processions because it hurts the sentiments of people, right? But on certain occasions, the DM of that area has to do it because he envisions riots or whatever. People can be upset. They will protest, but at least no death would happen if he feels that there could be clashes and it could lead to that. That's where I say that they are the decision makers, no, at the end of the day. I can't be saying that, listen, you told me to do it. If we are supposed to do the dugout today, and we do not do it because all of you came to me and said, "Arey, today we are feeling lazy and not," and my boss pulls up, Buck will stop with me, no? I was the one who said or fell into your excuse of being lazy today. It had to happen on my watch.
It's a catch-22. The cops, if they denied it, they would have been demonized. The administration would have been demonized.
Sure, still
That's fine, you take that.
the lesser evil than anybody dying,
take
Siddharth.
But what did the administration and the police do?
There was some
Take the populist
There
route.
was miscommunication as well, Siddharth.
Of course.
That is still to be I'd say that's still to be put out and still to be exposed at to what, because we need to then have, you know, the concerned stakeholders come across the table and have a conversation or tell us enough. At the moment, I don't think we've heard enough from the franchise. At the moment, I don't think we've heard enough from the police. Now, what we know is that the police denied permission for the parade, and Nikhil's right, the parade never happened. However, the police deployment, because there are two versions at the moment. First, we heard from DKS yesterday that there was 5,000 cops, but I also heard somebody else from the government then say that there was about, the number was actually about 1,000, 1,500. So weren't even 5,000 cops perhaps.
Arshit,
But
whatever the number, they were not unable to control the situation. That's my
absolutely.
point.
And this was, so why I hold both, and if you ask me, I hold both of them responsible. This had to be done in a coordinated manner. Even if there was a celebration and if RCB are thinking of having an event which is going to be bigger than their usual unbox event, which lasts for 2 hours, which also sees the stadium packed to the rafters, which is 33,000 people.
35,000.
That's the capacity. You were expecting there to be a number at least twice or thrice. That should have been the
Absolutely.
expectation. Now, even 5,000 cops, is that the right assessment? No, that isn't the right
But I'll tell
calculation
you-
for the administration.
But I'll tell you, no, Harshit, that's why I'm saying the number is not important. I'll tell you why. Because as I said, on that VIP gate, there are 200. So my point is the
that's always
deployment.
there.
No,
That's
but
always there.
So
if
my
you and I
thing
walk
is,
around the park right
so
now, that's fine.
my-
But if we go to Lutyens, you know, there'll be greater
but Harshit,
security.
that's the point. So it's the number is not an issue. Maybe even 1,000 cops were enough had you had the right protocol in place. My point is exactly
and
this.
this is
There was
this
no
is
time.
where-
The turnaround time was very
So then
long.
say no. If I cannot do something, you tell me, I have to say no.
No.
It is my decision at the end.
This is where
Nobody can do
but
it.
This is where I feel the miscommunication.
It's
and
my
why-
responsibility
why
to run the
franchise
show.
also
Franchise,
needs to
because
take
see,
some
because to
ownership
begin
over
with,
here.
there was first
You
come,
look at
first
this.
serve.
You have to get the permissions from the police, well, traffic
Exactly.
police, state police, right?
Exactly.
There has to be like we saw when India won the T20 World Cup as well. There's a proper passage that gets drawn. We knew that this is where the players will be landing. This is where the parade will start from. This is where it will end. You knew the entire passage. You knew nothing yesterday. You didn't know anything about ticket sales. You didn't know which gate. There was a link that was posted online. That's all people knew. People rushed. So the franchise also, maybe the frenzy got on them. Maybe they were they were operating on a timeline, on a deadline that they had to adhere to, whatever the reason may be. But it was a lapse on part of the franchise and the state administration. There is no running
But
away or
Harshit,
no escape route for either.
The buck has to stop with someone. Na? If
Both.
people die on the road, it cannot be a responsibility of a private body. That's my point.
It can be.
No,
I'll tell you why.
no.
If I am inviting people, so
But you
I
are
am-
part of that event.
But
Say no.
So if I have, so that also happens with clearances, right? A match takes place with clearance.
Correct.
Right?
So-
and that's when you're expecting 35, 36,000 people.
But that's what my point is. That is for the authority that gives the clearance. At the end of the day, if I want to do whatever, okay, any event, as I said, concert, anything, I have to give, this is what I want. Before getting my permission, they will ask me 10 questions. I have to answer those 10 questions. Then I'm given the permission. My thing is that 300,000 would turn up. You know that. I know it. The cops know it. Before signing on that thing of allowing them to do it, they have to be the final authority. If they think 300,000 cannot be managed, 2,500 cannot, they say no. It's as simple as that.
This is
They
where
don't
the
allow
confusion
it.
comes from
They
me.
don't allow it.
For me, this is where the confusion exactly comes in, because while that event was announced on social media, have we heard enough from the franchise? Have they said this is the number that we? Because remember, when such
No,
events
they
are done,
haven't.
the
But-
board
but-
will have to, the KCA will have to pay the state accordingly.
Exactly.
RCB will have to pay for such security, given whatever number that they had.
So
They would
that's
have
what I'm
asked for
saying.
additional security.
But they're not going
Where
to
is
put that on social media. No,
But-
for you.
but-
That communication happens with,
Now,
it's a simple protocol.
If they want to absolve themselves for whatever blame they're getting right now as a franchise, as a private body, Have they told us what the communication was?
But Harshit, it is not their job to tell us. It is their
Now
job
it
to
is.
tell the court.
No,
No.
but now it is.
Now it is the job to tell the courts that.
Yeah.
Because there is a suo moto
Exactly.
FIR. Yes.
So,
this
yeah,
is a job
so
to,
whatever-
but those are not things to be put out on social media. My thing is, anything that what questions you are asking would have to be asked from the franchise before giving them permission. And in case, in that hypothetical scenario, that they are given permission without answering those questions, then again, the buck stops with them. If I have been, or I have on purpose, let's say, ignored 5 questions, if I have to tick 5 boxes before allowing you permission, and I've only ticked 2 and the remaining 3, there's an understanding I don't tick it, again it is on me. I am the final authority who allows. If I don't allow it, it cannot happen.
So if I'm saying, and there was this confusion, see, rumor mongering will happen and on, and we know that this free tickets thing also went around gate number 7. You're getting free tickets. All of those things will happen on the ground.
Media reported that bus team
now,
is not coming.
why it happened was because it was all organized in a very chaotic manner.
That
Yes,
is
I
what
think
my point is.
I just think at times it becomes easy for us to question the administration. Yes, and RCB is an equal stakeholder in this. I don't think everything can be put on the cops here. Yes, the number, I think the assessment was wrong. The calculation was totally wrong. 5,000 cops would never have sufficed for a victory celebration for a franchise and fans that are extremely passionate about the sport and their franchise. So where was that communication? Okay, the parade didn't happen,
But Harshit,
but
that's what I'm trying to tell you. No,
which gate? We still don't know which gate those tickets had to be sold, what manner in which tickets.
But that's exactly what my point is, that them not giving a clear communication is an issue. Yes. But you are not, you are making mistakes. I am the final authority. I have to say no. I cannot allow
Tough
you.
decision has to
You
be
have
taken.
to take a tough call. If you can't do it for whatever the reason, let's say, that's what I'm saying, you're not complying. Why are there compliance things? But it's my call to do. If you're not complied with communication, you're not complied with, if you can answer 5 questions that I'm asking, how many people, I don't give permission. Whether my arm is twisted, not twisted, whether I've been put pressure, it's my call. Either it has happened because of corruption that I've taken a call despite not getting all the boxes checked, or I have done it but I have not done my due diligence. Whatever it is, the buck has to stop with someone who allowed it to happen. I can want to do anything. As a franchise, I may want to have the dancers, the cheerleaders stand on top of the roof because it gives me TV coverage. Who will give me permission for that? If tomorrow dancers go on top, I'll have to take permission. If they're standing on top and fall down, it'll be eventually, did you take permission from the cops? Only after you've taken, then you will be allowed. No? You cannot do it otherwise. If I am the authority, I have to give it. You should have not allowed it to happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because see, we cannot have this garb of passion. Oh, passionate fans are there at this point in time. Okay. There are passionate fans. Oh, you have to cater to them. My simple take is 3 things. 1, the problem at this stage is that you just had no time. You had no time to organize this because there was a crowd swell. Okay. When RCB won, I'll tell you again the sequence. The sequence of events is very important. People upstairs might justify it. There are some colleagues of ours who are justifying, but when RCB had reached the final, don't you think the arrangement should have been done at that time itself?
No, when they reach the final.
Yes.
What is?
Because 50% chance you're having of winning. No, what I'm saying.
No, but it doesn't happen.
Again, for making arrangements, if you lose, okay, you are still losing money. The exchequer is still losing money for all the arrangements. Number 1. Number 2, from winning and until reaching the airport, it was 15 hours. They reached HAL Belandur airport at 2:30, right? Now, the problem is, there is one huge problem. In 15 and a half hours, can anybody tell me which major security event has been organized? I'll tell you one thing, okay? No event has been organized. Delhi, when you look at the Delhi and Mumbai legs, when the World T20 parade had happened, why was that a bit of a success? For one simple reason, you had time to prepare. Here you didn't have time. For an already overstretched police workforce, a 4 lakh crowd swell on any major road will overwhelm anybody. Number 3, Number 4, let me make one thing very clear here. We Indians, I'm including even myself in this, we Indians lack discipline and lack civic sense. Let's make one thing clear here. We lack civic sense, we lack this because a stampede operates on 4 perspectives. Lack of communication, lack of order, discipline and civic sense. You get that in a plenty in India. And you get it whenever there is football matches in South America and when ultras rule the roost in Europe. If you look at Europe, look at England, look at Russia, look at the race riots that happened. But I'm not including PSG in this whole thing. Because that was a race riot. A riot can be planned. A stampede can't be planned. It happens at that point in time. So yes, you have to blame the fans also. Because fans are getting away very lightly for their behavior that is there. I'm sorry. I will call out bad parenting. How could you get an infant here in that crowd swell? How could you get a toddler in that crowd swell? How? There can't be a justification. I'm very sorry for it. Those parents need to be called out for getting kids and exposing them. Let me tell you one thing, Harshad. In Delhi, okay, during Diwali shopping or during religious things like, for example, Eid, when we go to Jama Masjid, we have to take due diligence, right? If our kid is in that market, we don't let their hands go for even a split second because they'll be lost in that crowd swell. But aren't we scared? And we try avoiding it. For the sake of kids, yaar, kids lost their lives and there can be no justification. Government, RCB, both are culpable. And the government is responsible because you didn't take the tough decision of not hosting it. Keep it some other day, 3-4 days later. Give us time. No, RCB wanted, no, we want a celebration right now. Police had to say yes because nobody in this country has a right to take tough decisions. It had to be disastrous. And it happened. 11 deaths. It's the worst, if I may add, when it comes to sporting deaths in India. I can't think of any other sporting death that has happened. Yes, there were stampedes in Kolkata. Mohun Bagan, East Bengal Derby, 1980. 16 people died in that. But look at the structure of the stadiums then. A cricket match was stopped because of a stampede in Kolkata. I am again stating India and its citizens lack basic civic sense and order. I am sorry, it may be a take on us Indians, but it's the truth. We lack civic sense. And that's why any place you go, stations, bus stations, airports, religious congregations, town halls, corporate centers, we will have stampedes because there are elements within us who will say, "Arey, chuck it, let us do something. There'll be some rowdy elements, let's do something," and lead to it.
So let's also at this point take a look at what is it that our family members have to say. AI platform fan club says a few CSK fans on social media blaming Virat what clowns. Absolutely, I don't think.
Totally, yeah. Virat has nothing to do with this. Let's make one thing very clear here.
He cannot be singled out.
He can't be. It is the broader entities who allowed this to happen.
And as Nikhil's also saying, yes, it was, it becomes easy for you to do a split screen of what's happening outside, what's happening inside. You do a split screen these days, you get umpteen number of tools on your phone to be able to do basic editing, and that's what people are doing at the moment. While some of it is partly true with players being inside and the first times, if you try to recall, because I was also on the show that time with Nikhil, and I think it was 5:45 by when you had started hearing reports of deaths coming in, and the event had just started to happen on the inside. However, for there to be an official confirmation, this is just what reporters were picking up at the moment, and for it to have reached the ground to the players, for it to have been immediately called off, something that we saw, let's say, happen in Dharamsala, where the situation had escalated enough for you to take an immediate action and call off the match midway. The situation was developing. It hadn't reached that point. It was only around 6:15, 6:30 that things had become official. There was some acknowledgement where reporters, including Nikhil for that matter, had confirmations from hospitals, from the cops, that yes, deaths had taken place. So all of that was happening while the function was happening on the inside, and by then, the time that it got over, things had happened
out totally.
and they had been blown out of proportion. They had and the damage was done by the time it was all so it was in a way all happening in the background, is what I'm trying to suggest. Had there been prior confirmation, had there been prior acknowledgement before the event started, then perhaps maybe RCB and the players could have been questioned for being mum about it, because there are role models. The franchise also owes something to the society for that matter. Then of course it would have been deemed insensitive on part of the players, the franchise, but all of it, one must understand, was happening simultaneously. And only then, so it was around 6:30, as I said, only around that time that the event was also coming to a close, and you got to know an official confirmation that things had happened, that players were then that started to move out, and the celebrations were in many ways cut short.
Yeah. So, Deepthi, I'll take this comment. Hope Sidvi acknowledges spreading fake news of RCB fans celebrating death of people on Twitter, where he quoted a VK troll account of celebrating death. Deepthi, as always, misinformed and everything. I had quoted a dystopia. You see, when Nikhil was doing the report, in the aftermath of whatever had happened, most fans were coming in and saying RCB, RCB, RCBs, cheering them on. Okay. It's a unique dystopia that can happen only in India. And let me tell you, Deepthi, one more thing. Whether it was a sarcasm, whether it was troll, whatever was that tweet I quoted, it was in poor taste. And he got caught for it. Luckily, he got caught for it. I hope he has. So that's why. Shubham Gar, if 8 lakh has taken metro around stadium, why didn't authorities realize where those people are going? Why transportation road blocked earlier in the morning? Simple two-word answer, no time. Absolutely no time. And that is why I'm saying cops are okay. That yes, you have to show them something, but you cannot. I'm sorry. The whole blame can't be with them. Rakesh Bhushan, Virat doesn't like to give a selfie to his fan. He doesn't like to give interview. Why the show off he wanted in the first place? State government, BCCI, who wants this show off? Because now both of them are denying leading this show. BCCI have denied because it is not part of the function. They are not part of the function. It's an IPL event.
Yeah, BCCI, as you would have seen on Sports Today as well, on India Today, also for that matter, he came on record and said that for us, the tournament got over in Ahmedabad. Once the trophy was given, we had nothing to do. We were not informed, and that's usually the thing. However, what you must also know is, because we had Devajit Saikia, the present secretary of the BCCI, he also on record has told us that going forward, there will be SOPs that will be given to franchises to ensure that such an incident is never repeated on Indian soil. Especially a moment that should have been all about celebration and color, ended up being a somber moment, and a moment that we'll all regret as citizens of this country. Very quickly, because we're going to be skimming through the comments today, because there's a big presser happening in the next 20 minutes. So join us, in fact, at about 8:15. The moment the press conference gets over, we're going to be here in the Sports Today studio, break down this momentous press conference in many ways.
Start of a new era.
It's the start of a new era. Shubman Gill taking charge. So let's go
across. Rakesh Bhushan loved the way Shashwat was doing his interview with Rajiv Shukla and the IPL final coverage. Well done.
Compliments to you, Shashwat, Rakesh, and
450K Thakur. He's asking Nikhil to check court decisions use FIR registered against RCB. Police told clear no to RCB. Security was provided. RCB is private. But then again, police didn't have time. Simple. No time. They said no, but RCB insisted on it. So that is why I'm looking at it. I'm saying, boss, you had very little time. 15.5 hours. You can't organize a crowd swell. You really can't. They had denied permission to open bus parade. But why couldn't they deny it for other things also?
For the event, for that congregation to take it. This is where, again, there are some grey areas in this story.
RCB has to be held accountable for that post. I'm sorry. That free tickets post.
This is the miscommunication, Siddharth, I was talking. Was there approval from the police, from RCB, that listen, now this is what we're doing. Okay, no parade, but we're going to be selling tickets. This is what we are expecting. This is the kind of security cover we'll need. We need those answers to come out. Only then you can surely put the blame on one entity.
Exactly.
If RCB said yes and police said, okay, if you're expecting 100,000 people, we will ensure this security for 100,000 people. Then we need to hear it from both the franchise and the police.
Yep. Cricket 1974 is saying, Nikhil's telling the truth, lot of respect, indeed. 450k Thakur, leave everything. Just tell me when RCB knew people are getting killed outside. Why didn't they stop the celebration?
No, I think 450k Thakur, we just broke it down a short while back. Nikhil also said it.
Yeah.
And I think if you just
till
go back
that time, no one knew what had happened.
Yeah.
Till that time. And remember, communication, proper communication takes lot of time to spread. Okay. Ashish
Dar says RCB is majorly to be blamed. Authority should be given time. Announcements of free tickets was a killer blow. Yeah.
Sumit Uthal is saying some people and journalists are sharing images of RCB players with blood on their hands and the trophy as if they are to blame.
That's distasteful. I know what you're talking about, and I've also seen that on X, but it's distasteful, and it's not done on part of many people from our fraternity or who were ex-members of a fraternity for that matter. Some of them have taken to YouTube and are doing their own thing, but that's just distasteful. Those images are horrendous, to say the least. The team, the players don't have blood on their hands. It's not on them entirely. In fact, unquestionably, the players aren't involved in all of this. The managerial, those who take care of the management side of things for such instances, for logistics, those guys will now have to answer in court.
Ashish, the authority is indifferent towards citizens' lives. See, authorities have always been indifferent, Ashish Dhar. But we citizens don't make other citizens' lives easy. We don't. That is the poor nature of this country. But again, Thakur is saying, the official statement from RCB, they amended the show after knowing what happened. Amended, not stop. But then, again, they came to know only later.
And with that amendment, 450k Thakur, that amendment, what does that amendment mean? The amendment was that there will be a parade. Eventually, it didn't happen. That was the amendment they were talking about. So they did change their plans. It could have been a different scene altogether. But once they were told you can't have the parade, they did adhere to it. Now the question is, what happened exactly at the point that they decided, okay, there's going to be a big function there for which tickets are going to be made available at the stadium. Did they get the clearance for that or not? This is the one question that needs to be asked.
Pawan Holla, we Indians never change. Until something like this happens, we don't bring any standard process. High time we learn some basics. Pawan Holla, it's never happened. In India, you're expecting India to change. No, because the people are like that. Yeah. Fans in this country, because of the frenzy that they whip themselves into, I'm sorry, this will happen over and over again. You got away with it in the T20 World Cup parade because you had time to plan something. But even there, Harshit, if you remember, there was a stampede. But people didn't lose their
Marine
lives.
Drive.
Yeah, some people got injured in that crowd swell.
See, in the frenzy, these things happen, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you need to apply some sort of common logic as well, and try and abstain. I think it's the abstinence that's missing at the moment. If you abstain at times, just be more responsible as citizens, we can all avoid these situations.
Yeah. Learn with Ram. First, government must impose all India ban of celebrating after the matches on road and public places. Fan celebration can't disturb common public. But how will you do it then? There is one section of the crowd who say, no, we want to celebrate. Are we a dictatorship?
No, but we can't do that. Part of sport is these celebrations also. They must happen in an orderly manner. Yes, not everyone wants to be a part of it, but at times you have to take these hits. I know traffic, etc. We all face hurdles at times. But
it is a necessary evil that you have to do.
Sport deserves celebration as well, but must happen in an orderly manner. Last couple of questions.
Machli ki aankh. If they didn't know, why cut to 20 minutes? They knew, no Machli ki aankh. They came to know about it much later. 4:50 or 5 o'clock the program happened. By 5:30, they decided, okay, let us make it only 20 more minutes. That's it. End. And it's okay. So players are innocent. Rajat and Jitesh posted in the night. They didn't till today, right? But okay, is it necessary for people to post on some things? Can't you celebrate or can't you moan in silence?
It takes me to what Ashwin, I think, had said. Now I've stopped doing all these birthday posts and this and that, whatever.
In India, why do you want validation from people? Why do you want validation? It doesn't make sense. Okay, what if I had posted something, oh, this is bad, what has happened? People in this country will themselves say, who the hell are you?
See,
Were
we
you
don't know
there?
what the person's going through. I know they are role models. We expect them. At times, we just expect a lot out of them. I will say this again before we go, had the players known that such a instance had happened and they had a confirmation and still there was no acknowledgement, then it maybe would have called for greater scrutiny, and then we would have held our players equally accountable, or the franchise and the netas for that matter. But it was a developing situation. It was a developing situation at that time.
And by the way, we have to remember, India is a dystopia. I'll tell you why. Nothing can be far more horrific than 2021. Second wave of COVID, people in the country were dying in the lakhs every day. But you still had an IPL game at Arun Jaitley Stadium, and at Nigambodh Ghat, there were hundreds of funeral pyres being lit. And yet, you wanted to watch a cricket game. Oh, because it gave us the distraction of that. India is a dystopian country. And understand one thing, if there are deaths that are happening, say where Harshit is sitting, I will be celebrating here because I didn't know what happened. So I'll just go on with my business. But yes, you have to have a rethink of this thing called the show must go on. I'm sorry. This has to change at this point in time. So that's about it, Shashwat. Done? Okay,
Yeah,
so
right.
we are done.
We'll now tune into that press conference.
Yes.
Be with us at around 8:15. That's what the expectation is, that the PC will get over. We'll, try and break down that press conference and the important takeaways. We'll be joining you again from the Sports Today studio and
about
see
half an
what is
hour's
it that
time,
we
yeah.
learn about Indian cricket going forward. So thank you from everyone here at Sports Day. Always a delight to join you every evening. But the show will go on, at
Yes.
least as far as Sports Day is concerned, and we will rejoin you at around 8 o'clock. Thank you guys,
Bye-bye.
and we'll